So I'm not the most up to date when it comes to current trends, but Fortnite seems to be pretty popular right now. I mean, it was an endgame, so it must be doing something right.
Noob master.
And that should be expected from anything this popular. There are a lot of people who absolutely hate this game simply because of its popularity. And I don't think it really deserves that. I know it can be fun to rag on popular things from time to time, but it feels like a lot of people hate this game purely for how obnoxious the fanbase can be. And yeah, it can be pretty bad sometimes.
Fuck you, whore! We like Fortnite! We like Fortnite!
That's not all Fortnite has going for it though. There are some genuinely good things about this game and I want more people to see and acknowledge them. This isn't sponsored, by the way, I just want to try to make people see a different side to this game. Not that Epic would sponsor me anyway because of how obscure this channel is. Subscribe. Before anything, I want to make my relationship with this game very clear. I think this game is alright. I've played a decent amount of the game and even put some money into it, but I wouldn't really call myself that much of a fan of the game. This game certainly has some problems. The shooting can be clunky at times. Okay, most of the time, and the building especially makes this game surprisingly anti-newcomer for how young some of the people playing this game are. Seriously, I look at some of the stuff people do and think to myself, Jesus, how many hours have you put into this game? Not that I mean to discredit the building, it's easily the most standout thing about the game, and it's pretty fun just watching two players who actually know what they're doing fight each other. My point is, I don't want to seem like I think this game's above criticism. If you don't like the game because you don't like the game after playing it, then that's perfectly fine. Now if you're like me, you may be asking, what is someone with subpar gaming skills supposed to do to enjoy this game when every match inevitably ends with me getting sniped by someone with a shotgun from 50 meters away? And the answer to that question is challenges. Every week a new set of challenges gets released, with extra ones being given to owners of the battle pass. These can be as simple as visit certain landmarks in a match, or even just outlast other players. Sometimes they're a little harder than that. What makes these work is that challenge progress counts even if you don't win the match, so as long as you keep trying, you'll complete them eventually. This makes the game less about winning and more about exploring the world and having fun with the tools the game gives you. It makes for both a fun experience with friends and a relaxing moment after a long day. Just load in the game, start up your favorite podcast, and play at your own speed. If you want to just go out and kill people without the stress of a battle royale, then the Team Rumble mode may be for you. It's a team deathmatch mode where you can respawn as much as you like and don't have to care about how much you suck at this game. There's more here than just running and shooting though. The vehicles are one of my favorite parts of the game. They range from hoverboards, which let you fly around the map and pretend you're Tony Hawk, to ballers, whose hook swinging mechanic reminded me a lot of the web swinging in Spider-Man 2 of all things. Most recently, mechs were added to the game, which are pretty sweet. Not just because of their great movement and damage potential, but also because they require two people to use properly. The amount of teamwork needed to get the most out of mechs is actually pretty cool, and it's something that you don't see too much of in games nowadays. But there is one thing that really stands out to me about this game. The amount of new content and change that gets added every week. I'm not just talking about the costumes and emotes that are in constant rotation in the item shop, even though they do consistently surprise and confuse me. Like every time I see this cactus costume, I get the feeling that they're seriously running out of ideas. This one kind of looks like Frank from Donnie Darko. This one is just like the Cyclops from the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. I love it. No, what really gets me is what changes in the actual world. The Fortnite that exists now is very different from the one that we started with. What started as a generic grassland where the only difference between areas was the amount of trees has turned into a varied world with desert plains, icy mountains, a volcano turned into a processing plant. If you can think of a type of landscape, it's probably been in Fortnite's world at some point. Not just the world changes though. The weapons and items that you can find constantly change as well. Sometimes new grenades get added, sometimes an old weapon gets replaced, sometimes there are new toys to play with. It's a bit of a double-edged sword though. Remember that baller I was talking about and how cool it was? That doesn't really exist anymore. Bummer, I know, but the constant addition and removal of weapons and locations keeps the game fresh. May I remind you that these changes are almost weekly, whereas most games only get new additions every few months, if they're lucky. With this in mind, I think it's obvious why this game is so popular. It's easy to look at all the goofy skins and funny emotes and assume that's all this game has to offer, but the truth is it's the developers' efforts to constantly change how the game plays that keeps so many people coming back day after day. I don't expect this video to make anyone fall in love with Fortnite, but I hope it at least gives you some newfound respect for it. Epic, please sponsor me, I will not let you down.